Another week. Real life, real talk. We with Brother John. How you doing, so
Yeah,
family?
yeah, we live, man. We live. Just living, bro. Just trying to live through this storm of distractions that we are being assaulted with on a daily basis.
Storm of
The
distractions. I
the
like that.
the propaganda, the lies, the whatever you want to call it, man. It's just, they treating us like redheaded stepchildren.
Well, you know what's interesting is I think back in and I was actually going to put up a post. I didn't because I couldn't find the post, but I believe it was in October of I believe 2022 or 2021 somewhere, and I said, remember, I was telling the audience, remember this date that
Hmm.
I told you you're going to start seeing big, all the people that you look up to and celebrity, you're going to
Hmm.
start seeing some of them falling.
Yeah.
And I said, mark my words for it. And uh, and the reason I remembered that is because yesterday I came across this post and I actually went on his page and he had blocked me.
Who
I've
was that?
probably been blocked for years now. None other than DJ Vlad.
The Vladdy Vlad.
Yeah, the one that everybody goes to snitch to.
Yeah, and he
Um,
and he drops dimes on them.
exactly. But for some reason, and I went on his Twitter and it was posted there. Now on Twitter, once it showed as soon as I went on his page, it shows DJ Vlad has blocked you, but you can still see his posts. And so he's got this post with talking about Jay-Z. And it says, and I sent it to you, you can put it in the caption, but it says, I have a confession.
Yeah.
Rock Nation, Rock Nation has been paying me to support Megan, the Stallion. They also paid off all the jury members to convict Tory Lanez.
Oh,
And they bribed the judge too. Jay-Z did a verse for his grandson's new album. They paid off Megan's doctor to lie about the bullet fragment. She was never shot. The
hmm.
LA police are all on Jay's payroll, and it doesn't stop with LA, but you're not ready to hear that part. The Mexican guy who stabbed Tory, who do you think paid him to do that? You already know the answer to that. The
Wow.
three Supreme Court judges who denied Tory's appeal all paid off by Rock Mafia.
Wow.
Jay also paid Trump not to pardon Tory. Even though it's a state case, Trump can only pardon federal cases, but knowing Trump likes to bend the rules, Jay wasn't taking any chances. I can't keep these lies secret anymore. If this is my last tweet, you know who silenced me. Now, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if this is real or not. It was on his page. Uh, I don't like Vlad. It's no secret. I
Yeah.
just think and
He's a
I don't
vul
like Jay either.
he's a vulture, man. He's a
Yeah, he's
vulture.
a culture vulture. But do I put anything past any of them? Now, do I think that Jay paid all of these people? I think that's kind of. First of all, how do you know he paid all of these people?
Right. Where the
And
receipts at?
yeah, where are the receipts? And furthermore, um, the reason I don't know that it's all credible is because I mean, whether you're paying people or not, you start divvying out money to all these different people, somebody's going to tell.
Somebody's gonna
Somebody's
talk.
going to
Yeah.
tell it. I mean, over the course of time, the money at that point really doesn't matter. Um, so I don't know, but it is on his page on his Twitter. So I don't know if it's still there, but when I checked yesterday, it was.
You say I've been blocked by better people,
Exactly, exactly. I was not concerned about the block. And I've said some things about Vlad over the years, and I don't take any of them back. So
Yeah.
the block was probably warranted.
Well, it's funny, man. People block you because you probably telling the truth.
Yeah,
I had a couple of buddies that, we used to have a little group chat that we just went back and forth, and we kind of dropped out because they couldn't handle the truth, man.
yeah,
They some old army buddies, they were basically diehard Trump fans. And when stuff started coming out about him, they couldn't handle it. I'm just telling the truth. This is, And then, it gets me with these people. They always come up with, well, what about this and what about, well, yeah, what about it? They're all dirty. You just
Yeah,
don't want to see the dirt on your guy. You don't care about seeing the dirt on the other guy. And that's why I don't get, because they're all dirty. And none of them
exactly.
have clean hands, man. But we get so tied up in this my side, like I always say, if it's a football game and the ref makes a bad call on the other team, you don't care.
Yeah,
But if he makes a bad call on your team, oh, holy hell breaks out, man. When you should be upset because he made a bad call regardless. But
yeah.
they've got us in this us versus them mode, and I see it every day on Twitter, man. It's just crazy. I go on there and look, and you know, uh, man, you doing some space age stuff, man. This is you zooming in and out on me.
No, I just wanted to show.
Oh,
Please, I didn't want to interrupt, John. I just
oh,
wanted to let people know that that post is still up on his
oh,
page,
okay.
and I'm still blocked.
Oh, okay. It was funny when you put the picture up, you like zoomed in and it zoomed out on the screen.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna
uh,
leave that alone. But
yeah, it was cool. But yeah, man, we fall into that Hegelian dialectic. They don't care what side you're on as long as you're on a side, and they can manipulate you.
yeah, um, there's a whole lot going on, and you hit it on the head uh, at the start of this podcast is the distractions
Yeah,
that we're facing, and they're those numbers are increasing. I mean, the distractions with ICE, the distractions with the Super Bowl, which I don't watch,
I didn't
the
even, man. I
distractions.
didn't watch a minute of the Super Bowl. I haven't watched
Uh,
one in several years, not just the day this year. I haven't watched it in 2 or 3 years. And my nephew plays for the well, he's my nephew from my other wife, but he plays for the Patriots.
mm, okay.
And yeah, I didn't. My grandson, my son's now on my son's side.
Yeah.
I don't even watch the game, man. It just because I know what it's about.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm not a sports guy in that manner. I do like sports. I haven't particularly with football. I haven't watched since Kaepernick actually.
Hmm.
When they banned him, I was done at that point. Not that I watched a lot anyway, but you talked about the distractions and with the number of distractions that we have coming, and I'm seeing you can see the cracks in the system.
Yeah.
And these distractions are nothing more than a group of people trying to hold on for dear life to their power line. And if we
Yep.
people, we the common people, start detaching, um, as some are doing right now. I mean, it's a work in progress, but
Hmm.
if more people start detaching uh, eventually we can create our own system the way we want it to work because I'm looking at this and I'm just like, you got all these old politricksters,
Yeah.
the same format, the same playbook, and I mean, when is there any change?
It's amazing, man. We I would say we as a collective, not me, me and you, but the playbook they don't need to change the playbook because it keeps working, man. And now I mean, I don't think I've ever seen um the thing that's going on like the other day, the attorney general when they were questioning her about Epstein stuff. And she's just, I mean, it wasn't what's the word I'm looking for? It didn't seem like these were government officials. These seemed like two people in a club arguing or at a bar somewhere with a bar brawl. And this is how our government, the people that are supposed to be, running stuff, this is how they operate. I mean, it was like wrestling, man, and that's all it was. These people get up and they huff and puff and shout and do all of this, and how many people you think are going to go to jail?
Exactly. Well, I put up a post and I said, very simple, files versus indictments. There's a
Hmm.
difference.
Yeah,
And there just is. We can files are to be read. Indictments mean people are going to court, they're being charged. So until there's some indictments, this is really great theatrics on their part.
exactly.
And you were shout out to real quick because I don't want to cut your thought, John, but shout out to oh oh, I just had her name on my tongue. I'll get it in a minute, but shout out to this sister because I came across her page and saw that the attorney general and the lady going back and forth, and I this lady had me on her show years ago on RT America, so I want to shout
Oh
her out.
yeah, yeah. You know, it's funny. I was going through some of my archives the other day, man, and I saw a screenshot when from when you were on RT,
Yes, yes,
RT News. Yeah, I
yes,
was like, wow.
yes,
When
yeah,
I was looking for that video, and I
yes.
came across those screenshots.
Yeah, so I want to, but I saw that and I'm just like the same thing. Ashley Banks, that's her name, Ashley
Yeah,
Banks. So shout out to Ashley. Yeah, she had that on her TikTok page. But both of them, I started listening for a minute and I was like, okay, so the one lady is saying turn around and apologize.
yeah.
I'm not, what? I'm not
It
apologizing for anything. I
it
didn't
was
do anything. What are
it,
you talking about?
it
And
was like
then
an
the
episode.
response back was just, I'm just like, ah,
It was like an episode of Housewives of Atlanta, man. Housewives of DC.
exactly.
And you know these Epstein files that they supposedly listed, you know, and now everybody's name coming out of them. I just saw something say Bill Cosby was on it. I mean, you know, come on, man. They're pulling everybody out of the woodwork, and you know, and but Epstein was touched. He was in contact with a lot of people, man. And they're trying to minimize it, and you know, like the attorney general was like, well, what about the Biden administration? And the guy had a good response. He said, this spans 4 or 5 administrations, you know, so you're responsible for your part of this. Not don't worry about what everybody else did. So they always try to go back and say, well, they didn't do it, so why should we do it? That doesn't ring true, man. You are responsible for this part of the problem. You know, whatever happened in the past happened. Now here we are, and you've got to deal with your part. So what are you doing? And they're still just, you know, they're halfway releasing the papers, you know, hiding people's name, redacting names that shouldn't be named, that should be open, but they're hiding them. So at the end of the day, man, I'm not looking at any optimistic attitude as of anybody going to jail or anybody being really uh, punished for that. In America now, over in Britain, they're taking some action. You know, they're putting people out of positions. I don't know if they're going to jail, but at least they're doing something. And over here, we aren't we're not we don't seem to have that sense of urgency.
I think I read in Norway a prime minister there, somebody was being charged.
Hmm.
That was in the files. At this point, I think my question is not uh, it's no longer not who's in the files, it's who's not.
Who's not? Yeah.
Who's not in them. So, if obviously if this was a case of Epstein working with Israeli intelligence so that they could get information on people in order to blackmail those people, then the question is who was not in them?
Hmm.
Uh, and Hollywood, which I call Holly weird,
Yeah.
um,
We know where
there's
that
a
came
lot of
from.
players. I mean, you had the guy back in the day who was a popular actor, who tried to expose some things. Mel
Mel
Gibson was
Gibson,
trying to
yeah.
expose some things, and then you've had a couple others, and they categorized them as being crazy.
Hmm.
Uh,
Or
and for
anti-Semite.
Yeah, yeah, or anti-Semitic, but more so crazy for exposing the industry. Oh, you can't listen to this person. Look at them. They were in mental health, and this is what they do. I mean, they'll Kanye West you.
They
You know?
demonize, yeah. They have to demonize you to take away your credibility.
Yeah, and you hit it right on the head, John. Is that when we like somebody, when we like somebody, and the fallacy in our liking somebody is there will be people that you interact with. It's the craziest thing to me. I see it play out, and I got to talk on it because we're opening this can of worms with this next episode of Epstein, and you know it needs to be on it needs to be on Fox really or Netflix. But you will see people fall out with people on a
Exactly.
daily basis that they know
Hmm.
that they have been friends with, and they'll fall out over the most minute things. Sometimes it's serious, sometimes it's not. But they will like people that they have never met, and they will go to bat for those people.
Hmm.
And that's what we're seeing here because they're celebrities and you like them. That's your team now. And so your
Yeah.
team can do no wrong. Now this person over here that you don't like, yeah, they're guilty of sin in your eyes, but the person you like, and I think that we all need to take a step back and say, you know what? Wait a minute. First of all, I really don't know these people.
Nope.
I don't have any, I don't even have a background on their life experiences. Next, I've never been to any of those Hollywood parties, so we don't know what's going on. I
We
do
can,
know that I have gotten reports back from people who have been at them,
yeah.
who have been at those industry parties, and they all say, yeah, there's a couple of rooms in there that you don't want to go in.
Yeah, man.
I think, was it you and I that knew a guy that went out there that was he was an artist? Was that you
Uh,
and I? There was an artist that maybe it wasn't you and I, but there was an artist that me and another brother knew, and he was going out there, and I, one of us was warning the brother about, hey, watch the room, and he came back and said, yeah, y'all was right. That
uh,
room actually exists.
I don't, yeah, I
Said
don't,
and you know, he said he went out to this party, one of them hip hop events, and said, yeah, he said, man, I saw that room, I got a peek in there, and I was not going up in there, and I'm back, and I'm not taking any deals with them. And so, I mean, they operate on a different level,
yeah, you know that
and there's
movie,
going to be no arrest.
yeah, that movie, Eyes Wide Shut. Did you ever see that?
I did not.
That you need to see that, man. That is a doc. It's a documentary. It's not just a movie.
Okay,
The guy who filmed it, Stanley Kubrick, he died shortly after that movie was made.
really.
Yeah, yeah. It's bait, man. Yeah, yeah. Look it up, man. It's
Eyes wide shut.
Eyes Wide Shut.
Okay,
It's all about the I guess for the lack of a better word, the Illuminati, man. I mean, he really showed you how that stuff works,
okay.
how that game works, man.
Mm,
And like I said, he died mysteriously shortly after that movie. They also said
mm,
he supposedly was the guy who filmed the moon landing. That they never really went
mm.
to the moon.
Oh, was he the guy that was interviewing all those the interviewing the
No,
astronauts?
he was he was a
Okay,
movie director. He directed 2001: A Space Odyssey. Yeah, Stanley Kubrick, man. I'll send you a link to it. But yeah, um, Eyes Wide Shut, man.
okay.
That movie will show you how and they had a picture of one of those rooms, you know. So basically, this guy snuck in the he Tom Cruise was playing it. He snuck into the to this to this mansion
Uh-huh.
and yeah, and he walked through one of those rooms and it was just like boom, like booyah.
Wow. Yeah, I got to see that.
Yeah, yeah, you got to see it
If it's still up.
it's you can find it somewhere, probably, but yeah, it's definitely it was on Netflix, I think, at one point. But
Mm, okay.
it just shows you how that stuff worked, man. So, but yeah, but
You know what's getting more exposure to lately? The
what's
dark
that?
web.
Yeah,
Dark
yeah,
web. I mean, we've talked about it years ago, but it's like wide open. It's almost a door that's wide open now.
yeah, yeah. Well, I
Interesting.
mean, they say that that's the real internet. The dark web is the real internet. You know, what we have, what most people see
Yeah.
is, you know, that's not the real internet. The dark
Yeah.
web is
Yeah.
and you know, on another distraction note, man, have you I didn't even know who she was, but the lady, so Guthrie, the news lady, her mother,
Savannah
grandmother,
Guthrie.
yeah, has been kidnapped, and and it's funny. Somebody I saw this thing where you remember the movie Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm gonna add this. So the lady, the one of the senator, he had kidnapped the senator's daughter, and the daughter was saying, the senator was saying, talking to on TV, so maybe he was watching TV, said, "My daughter is sweet. Talk to her. You'll see." And so this lady, Gup,
Yes.
she does the exact same thing, almost verbatim.
Yes.
Talk to her. She's kind and sweet. Talk to her. You'll see. And I was like, I think I said that out. I said, "Are you not entertained?" I mean, something's going on with that.
I,
That's another distraction, man. It's
I saw that. I saw that, and I was like, I didn't make the connection until now, because somebody was saying the same thing, like who, but they were saying it in the context of who says this
yeah.
to some, your
To
your
your
mother's
you
been kidnapped,
right.
and then they want Bitcoin,
Yeah.
so they want the payment in Bitcoin. So it's
Well,
just like,
these days I think I'd take gold over Bitcoin,
well,
but it's easier to get Bitcoin. But yeah,
I
this
think it's yeah, and they can probably trace the gold.
yeah.
You can only get so much of it before it starts to become too heavy. The Bitcoin, not so much.
But
Uh,
I mean that I mean what else is going on, man? The whole hype around the Bad Bunny thing. They didn't want this guy at the Super Bowl.
yeah,
I mean, and that all the divide and conquer that's stirred up. Even if Trump's talking about it. Why does he care about who performs at the Super Bowl? You got bigger problems than who's performing at the Super Bowl. Like, you need to, you know, you got more things to worry about than who's performing at the Super Bowl. And then you
exactly.
had that Turning Point USA. They're gonna have their own halftime Super Bowl show with Kid Rock, and it was a flop. I mean, but that was that. And speaking of that institution, man, I know a lot of that Charlie Kirk. I had never really heard of him before he got shot,
Yeah,
but my girl Candace has been going in on that whole organization, expose. I mean, and they're the lie, and not just her. There's this Wolves of Finance. This other white guy's got a station, and a couple of people that have been staunch supporters are, they're asking questions because a lot of stuff just doesn't add up. And they're
hmm,
lying about a lot of stuff.
yeah,
And so they are they yeah they and, they I see them. People are just attacking Candace because she's asking questions, and anybody who asks reasonable questions about the whole thing, they get demonized. Oh, they're crazy. They're conspiracy theorists, and if when you look at it, we've seen this scenario over and over. It happened with JFK. It happened with Martin Luther King. It happened with Malcolm X. It happened with RFK. The lone gunman shoots somebody. He's and the story never adds up. This guy supposedly got shot in the neck with a 30-06. And the doctor said his bones were so strong that the bullet didn't go all the way through and hit anybody else. And people believe that. A 30, what a 30-06 is. That's a big, that'll take down an elephant.
yeah,
It'll go
yeah,
through sheet metal. And
mhm,
supposedly it hit him in the neck and stopped right there. And it's just a whole bunch of weird stuff that happened, man. Like right after one of the guys who works for him, as soon as he got shot, you see him walking off with a telephone up to his ear. Now, when there's a gunshot that goes off, what do you normally do? You either gonna drop and run or drop
yeah,
to the ground or you're gonna run.
yeah,
This guy's got a phone up to his ear and he's walking away like he's talking to somebody. Like, yeah, okay, yeah, the hit sound, it's done, man. I mean, none of the stuff is adding up, man, and it's just, the FBI, basically Candace and some other people are doing the job that these people should be doing.
yeah,
And just because you're asking questions, they don't want you asking questions. And she, the wife, she's been involved in child trafficking things where they were not necessarily, but she was supposed to be helping children that were child trafficked. And then in Romania at 18, what were you doing at 18?
Right. Well, I think that, those that can see the forest for the trees know that she was Charlie's handler.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
she was a handler and um not to mention an affiliate of Trump at one time. Wasn't she part of some
Yeah,
beauty pageant
yeah,
of
beauty
his or
pat.
something?
Yeah, yeah.
And so, and Candace, I'm going to tell you, for all the flack that she gets, um, Candace is highly intelligent,
Oh,
brother.
without a doubt.
I like Candace. And I don't care what anybody says. I don't like her preference in marriage, obviously, but I like Candace because she's a highly intelligent woman. And like you said, we just live in a society now where you ask questions and you're demonized for asking questions.
Yeah,
As a matter of fact, that's how the word conspiracy theory came about.
yeah. After
After the
JFK,
murder of,
yeah.
of JFK, people were asking questions, and that's how they came up with conspiracy
Yeah,
theory.
label them.
And
Yeah,
then, if you remember, it was the first Bush when his son was being brought up. I think in Denver, Colorado, he was being brought up on an SNL scandal,
yeah, yeah.
and
Lost
uh,
millions of dollars, and he doesn't go
yeah.
to jail.
And he doesn't go to jail. And they were talking about bringing him up on charges, conspiracy charges. And Bush the first, the senior, said, "You bring my son up, and I will show you that conspiracy doesn't exist."
Hmm.
I will show you that there's no such thing as conspiracy concerning the law. Because remember, you got a lot of people, drug
Every day get
conspiracies
charged with
right now. They
conspiracy.
got
Yeah,
drug conspiracies, conspiracy to commit fraud. And I remember that. I was a lot younger then, but I remember Bush Sr. saying that I will show you that conspiracy doesn't exist. And they left it alone.
yeah. And you know what's funny,
And
man? His the guy who shot Reagan, Bush, and that guy's dad were having had dinner the night before.
yes,
The son of the son of the son who shot he was a son of oh man, so much stuff can't remember. But Bush had the family had something to do with that assassination, man. So,
yeah,
I hope that she sticks on it and gets some because this stuff has been happening for decades, man. These lone gunmen always one person, nobody else did it, and so if they can expose this, I don't know what'll happen. It'll probably be the downfall of the country, but I think the United States is we've always said the life cycle of empire, and the
mhm,
United States is definitely acting like an empire. I mean, who goes and how do you go and arrest the president of another country? Arrest
exactly.
him based on what? And then they charged him with uh, a machine gun, possession of a machine gun. He's the freaking president of the country. He could have a nuclear weapon if he wanted to.
Exactly.
So how are you
Exactly.
going to go down and arrest the president of another nation and arrest him for and try him in New York in that southern district? That's like supposedly one of the most corrupt districts in the
Yeah.
country. But the United States is acting like they run the world, and they're starting to get a little pushback now because they were trying to take Iran out, but I think China and Russia now stepping up. They're not going to let Iran fall the way they did, with Syria, and
Yeah.
where we got former Al Qaeda person that was on the hit list for the U.S. Now he's running Al Qaeda, met in the White House with Bush. I mean
Yeah.
with Trump.
Yeah.
Can't make
Well,
it
I
up,
think
man.
I think BRICS wants probably wants Iran to join them as well.
Well, they are. Our
They,
brand is in. They are in bricks.
yeah, so
Yeah.
there's that protection. But I think I think it's bigger. The US does their thing, but I think when I think globally people need to start, and not just citizens of the US, but citizens globally need to start looking at their government.
Yeah.
They all need to start looking at their government. None of these governments are giving you the full truth. None of them are.
Mm.
When that COVID happened, and I did the video where you had prime ministers and presidents from all over different countries reading from the same script. That should have
Yeah.
let you know right there that there's no real feuds going on. There's no real wars going on. The only
Mm-mm.
wars that are going on involve citizens dying. That's
Yeah.
it. It involves these big players, these billionaire boys and trillionaire boys playing chess, and we are the victims of
Victim.
that.
Yep.
We're going to be the victims. We're going to be the ones that end up in boxes, and our family members are going to be mourning and crying. But there's no real wars going on,
Mm-mm.
because if there was real wars going on when that COVID hit, and you saw all of those people reading from the same script, I think the only one that really didn't was Putin.
Yeah.
I think he was the only one that didn't read from that script. Him and a couple of others, and the couple of others that were African, they ended up dead.
Yeah. Yeah. Remember what the
Those
one?
presidents ended up dead.
Yeah, one president, I think he sent in a sample of a from a goat or something. And yeah, man. But yeah, yeah. They just found another biolab in California that was being run by I think they said it was Chinese. The Chinese were involved. I remember a few years ago they had this. They found a lab. It was a building, and the building inspector saw some kind of water hose or something coming out of the building that didn't meet code. So they started investigating and found out there was a biolab in that facility. And this was a few years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. They just found another one
Mm,
about a couple of weeks ago. You don't hear anything about that.
yeah. How
So
not?
and then what was that Zika virus? They were touting that up, pushing that a few weeks ago. They said they're already starting to screen people for this is and this supposed to be a whole lot worse than COVID was. So yeah, man, this is it's funny, man. When you start seeing how this stuff works,
Yeah,
it's just it makes you laugh because it doesn't have to be this way, and it's only these they call them the elites. They're not elite. They just have a lot more money than you do.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
they're not elite. We need to stop calling them the elites. They're the trash really because they're human garbage. The way they manipulate and just control, and it's all about money. You know,
yeah.
did you see that one in the interview? This I think the guy was a boxer, and he was out of the ring, and the guy said, "Well, what would it take to get you back in there?" He said, "Well, I'm not going back because then if I go back, I'll be selling my soul."
Terrence Crawford. Yeah,
Yeah, and then when the one guy said, "Well, what about for 100 million? You could have my soul," and the guy said, "Yeah, see, that just shows me
your character.
your character."
That's who you
And
are.
that's
Yeah,
and as you say, everybody's got a price.
yeah,
But some people don't have a price. But that's the problem. They can pretty much buy what they want when you run across someone who doesn't have those morals, man. They'll do whatever it takes to get that money.
What was interesting about that is that and I saw that conversation. What was interesting to me is that, and I'm not saying I don't know Terrence. I think he's a
Yeah.
great boxer, but he's also a great boxer that's got money.
Mhm.
Ask Terrence that question if he had
Yeah.
nothing. And
Yeah.
so the average person out here who has nothing, who is striving, who is grinding, who is trying to find a way, um, the average person is going to take that deal. They just
Yeah.
are. And that's the reality. And I think once we can admit that, and yes, there will always be the twos and fews that are like, nah. I'm not, but the average person is going to take that money and sign that contract. And when they're told this is what you can and can't do, you can't speak out. You can't donate to these organizations when you get this money. The average person is going to be like, I'm cool with that. I'm
Yeah.
cool. I don't need to donate to the Unity Walk. I can donate to Goodwill. I don't need to get up here and speak out for my people because for real, I don't believe in that shit anyway. That's the average person. And so it takes unique people
Yeah.
on this planet who are going to say, and that average person usually has a family. That
Yeah.
average person is probably going to have some children. So the dynamics change.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's different asking that question to a broke person or a person who doesn't have, as opposed to a person who's got, yeah, you got rings, you've got money. Your family's straight for the next, after you're gone and after
Yeah.
your sons and daughters are gone, that is, it hits different.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, it was a. I think the answer, from a person like myself who wouldn't sell my soul, who's been doing this work, and a person like you who wouldn't sell their soul, who's been doing this work and is willing to put ourselves on the front line. Yeah, it hit different from us hearing it like yes,
Yeah.
but the average person out here on the bricks that I talk to every day, they taking that deal.
Yeah. That's a good point, man.
And but also the average person who's going to take that deal, we have to realize that there's been a society that's been created for them to feel like that. we
Yeah.
don't embrace we don't embrace kindness and helping people. We just don't. And
Nah.
there's enough when we can send $3 billion to Israel a year since 1948, 1950, and
Yeah.
and we got people in our own country starving. You've created a systematic a pattern that has people in competition with one another. And within that competitive factor, yes, there are going to be many that are going to sell their soul, and they're going to do it with no compromise. They're going to do it with no sadness. They're going to do it with no moral compass. They're going to do it willingly.
Hmm.
And then once they get in that position, they're going to look back on the rest of everybody and say, hey, look how hard I worked. Pull yourself up by your
Boost.
bootstraps.
Yeah.
What are you crying about? I mean, and that cycle continues. We see it every day. That's why there's a divide right now between independent artists and celebrity artists. There's a real divide.
Hmm. And speaking of that little country that you can't talk about, I saw you see some the other day. Some lady, she was on some board, some government panel, but she said something, and Trump fired her because they claimed it was anti. She made an anti-Semitic statement. So basically, what it's boiling down to, how they've got this thing ironed out now, is if you criticize the government of Israel, you're anti-Semitic. Now, you can criticize the United States, you can criticize China, you can criticize Russia, you can criticize anybody. But if you criticize the government, not even we ain't talking about nothing about religion, nothing about what you chosen this, chosen that. We ain't talking about none about that. We talking about the people that run the government that actually make policy. If you criticize them, you are anti-Semitic. Who else can get that kind of status? If I go out in the street and somebody call me an N-word, what happened? Nothing. I might kick that nigga behind,
Right, right.
other than that, nothing's gonna happen, man. And they've got this down. You can't say anything. You can't say anything, and they're constantly um reevaluating now it's they came up with this thing I was watching last week, Zionists. If you say something about Zionists, you're anti-Semitic. And Zionist is a political ideology. That's got nothing to do with the religion. You know, being Judaism and Zionism are not the same. Zionism are not the same thing. Judaism is a religion. Zionism is an ideological government, government So but they have now conflated the two to be the same. You can't say anything.
Well, you know what's interesting about what you just said, John, is it goes full circle back to the start of this podcast. She was fired. Why? Because we got this thing called Epstein files.
Mm.
And people are going to get fired. You know why? Because you're not going to be able to talk about this little country with this government. Why? Because this little country with this government controls your government.
Exactly.
This little company with this government controls your media. I don't know if you remember years ago when we showed um the all the
It was like a chart.
yeah
The-
that
the-
sh they own it all.
yeah.
NBC to ABC to CBS, it was all them.
Hmm.
And so are we surprised that somebody gets fired? No, who fired you is their boss or their manager that manages their corporate structure. That's who fired you, and he's got somebody over him.
But they don't control anything. But they control everything.
R- r-
So
exactly.
yeah, but that's and it's our I was it's our politicians' um, fault, I would say, because some of them try to stand up to it. But you remember what's the girl Cynthia McKinney?
Yeah.
You know, she stood up, and you see
Yeah.
what happened to her. She had to leave the country.
Yes.
I don't know if she's back yet or not, but she left the country. This one politician from Ohio, Jim Trafficant. He
Yeah.
spoke out, and then they found him dead on his tractor flipped over on him.
Poor guy.
Yeah,
And
but
the tractor. Those tractors kill so many people per year by flipping over, don't they?
and yeah,
I
and
mean, come on, man.
most people don't know anything about the USS Liberty. During the Six-Day War, they tried to they attacked the U.S. boat and tried to blame it on Egypt
Yes.
and killed a lot of military, a lot of U.S. military, but they couldn't sink the boat. And JFK, not JFK, but Lyndon Baines Johnson said, "Well, we're not going to embarrass our allies over." They swept it under the rug because they didn't want to embarrass their our only ally in the Middle East. So this is, and then you get down the biblical path. Oh, you got to bless them. And it's, oh man, it's just,
Well, you remember, John, remember when uh when they were trying to Prescott Bush and his crew were trying to pull a coup on the US
yeah,
government
yeah, the
and it
business
was
plot.
yeah, it was exposed and then
Smedley Butler.
that small country came and did it years after he tried it. I mean, we got to call a spade a spade. They did. They
Yeah.
infiltrated every aspect of government, media, science. They've infiltrated every aspect of that in this country. And now citizens are feeling the remnants of that.
Hmm.
When a woman can be fired for speaking out, for just simply for simply what her First or Second Amendment right, freedom of
Hmm.
speech. I
It
mean,
fired
come on,
immediately. I mean, she probably got fired before she sat down.
yeah.
And
I
and
mean, that says it all.
now I hear that they're doing stuff over in Patagonia, right up from where the Antarctica is. What's that? Patagonia. But they're setting fires. So there was this law or something. I forget what country it was this, but it's in South America where if they burn this land gets burned, they can come in and buy it. So the IDF, they're burning the land. They're setting fires. They've been caught doing that, setting fires so they can then go in and buy the land up. So
Yeah,
yeah, man, So anyway, but they don't
yeah,
control anything, but they run everything.
yeah,
And
yeah. Well, and before we get off here, John, because I know we're cutting the time. I wanna throw our bid in. I want to throw our bid in. I'm gonna do this for those because we know that like organizations like Spotify, they have been putting out these deals to podcasters.
Mhm.
But what I notice is that these are they gave, I think, the first one of the first one, I won't say the first, but one of the first big deals they did was with Joe Rogan
Yeah.
and his podcast, and I think it was over 100 million. Uh, but we're truth tellers, and we should be on that list. So I'm putting in our bid. We need the funding and things because of the information that we give, and we know that if we don't speak up, you know, um, sometimes the truth tellers, we get overlooked because it's
Oh,
not a play it safe type of system. But we're past playing it safe. If you don't see what's going on in the US right now, and I'm sure a good portion of people do see what's going on, whether they want to speak on it or not, they see it.
yeah.
And so we definitely need to be on that list of high paid podcasters for the work that we do and have done over the years. So I'm going to put that out there for anybody that sees this because, hey, why should we be left out of the fray? You know,
Yeah.
with the work that we're doing over here to bring you this information and to put it out there in a way that a lot of people can really grasp and comprehend and appreciate as well. So,
Man, somebody that we both know, I'm not gonna mention a name, but they, I post a lot of stuff on Facebook sometimes, and so the person like came out, and it surprised me a little bit because we kind of tight, and he said, you can do this till you die. What's the plan? I mean, well, the plan is you got to get people aware of what's going on before you can come up with a plan. My plan is freeing enslaved minds, one mind at a time. Freeing America, one enslaved mind at a time. And I stole that from somebody else that said it, but you can't build an army unless people know that they need an army. You got to know there's a problem. If you think everything's fine, everything is not fine, but people think it is because they watch the regular news, they watch CBS, they watch Fox, they watch NBC, they watch Housewives of this, that, and other thing. I have a niece who I used to tell them stuff years ago, and it was really pleasurable because they came back and said, "You were right about everything that you were right about all the stuff you were telling us," because they used to think I was crazy.
hmm
But now they said they're thanking me because they said, "Wow, And I had a moment like that myself. I think I might have told you, man. My buddy, when he first told me that 9/11 was an inside job, and I was like, man, you crazy. I do not believe that. Ain't no way in the hell. No, no, I don't believe it.
right.
But what I did was I started looking and I was trying to prove him wrong. And in the act of trying to prove him wrong, I educated myself. And I said, damn, man, you were right. Something ain't right here.
Yeah.
And that started me down my journey. And
Yeah.
that's why sometimes I'm not so hard on people because there was a time I didn't know what I know. So you gotta, meet them where they at, and if they don't want to listen, then okay, you don't want to listen. But it's you can come up with all kind of plans, but if people don't know what's going on,
hmm
you've got to actually educate people to let them know that there is a problem. Like right now, the U.S. financial system is on the verge of collapsing.
hmm
And it's been on the verge of collapsing ever since I started paying attention, but but
Right.
it's even more so now because we're like 38, 39 trillion dollars in debt,
Yeah.
and they're paying $1 trillion just to pay the interest on the debt, and we're steady spending money around the world. And like you said, like I said, the last chapter of a fallen empire is they overextend their military and debase the currency. And right now, a couple of weeks ago, silver shot up to over $120 and gold is over 5,000.
Yep.
But if you look at a ounce of silver, a silver dollar, it says $1. But if you look at a gold piece, it says I think it was a $20 gold piece, but that's an ounce. So
Mhm.
$20 gold piece now is $5,000. A one ounce silver is over 70, $80, depending on what the spot price is. They haven't checked. So what
Mm.
has happened? That hasn't changed. That's still $1, one silver dollar, but it takes 70 paper dollars to make one silver dollar. So our
Yeah.
our currency is being debased.
Yeah.
And that's the last two steps of a failing empire. So,
Yeah.
and they keep, oh, the Dow was doing great. The Dow was up, and like that was even one thing that lady said when she was
Yeah.
arguing about, and the Dow was up over 50,000. Well, that's fake. The Dow could go to zero tomorrow quickly.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
So, man, we like it. Yeah, there's a few people that are putting out this information. I think our take on it, I mean, everybody has a different take, and
Yeah.
we come at it from a different angle, and I think it's one that's worthy of being patronized,
Yeah.
And one last thing, I want to give a shout out to Brother Slade. If you out there, bro, you had me worried there for a minute. Put out like 4 or 5 videos, and you hadn't responded, so I was like, dang, man, what's up? But
Yeah.
he finally showed up, man. So yeah, he's been like the number one fan for since we've been doing this. So
Yeah.
big ups, bro.
Exactly. Yeah. Big ups to Brother Slade. And to just to piggyback off of uh your comment concerning what's the plan? Um I've often gotten that question over the years, and what I've come to learn is that what you said is spot on, just giving the people information. But a lot of times within the information that we give, there are solutions.
Hmm.
It might not be specifically stated, here's the solution, but if you read between the lines and you're actually listening to the content, what we're saying, there's a solution in there. But what I've come to learn is that a lot of people, they don't really want the plan. It's really used as a technique to see, to try to in some instances, not all, but in some instances, it's just used as a technique to try to show others, look, there's no plan. So
Hmm.
you can't, but because I have sat in chats where, okay, here's the plan. And then the next answer, well, that
He
plan ain't
can't.
gonna
Yeah,
work,
that ain't
and we
gonna.
can't.
Yeah.
So you didn't really want a plan.
Hmm.
You just want to go back and forth. And so because a knowledgeable man and woman, they're going to use this and
Knowledge
be
is
able to.
power.
Knowledge is power. And I want to read this real quick. Knowledge that is not practiced is only information. So if we're giving knowledge and you're listening and you're saying, okay, but you're not, it's just information to you at that point if you're not taking it. It's just information. Information does not free a people, discipline does. So, information alone, you can have all the information you want. But
Hmm.
if you're not making it applicable to your life, then it's just useless. You're just sitting on a bunch of information. We got a lot of people out here with PhDs that got information, but they working at McDonald's and Burger King. So the knowledge that they went to school to get, they're not even making it applicable.
Right.
And so now, okay, so information does not free a people, discipline does. Action does. So what actions are you taking with the information that you're getting? And application is what separates awareness from power. Application is what separates awareness from power. So are you applying the information that we're giving? When I talked years ago about, the television is used to send subliminal messaging. The solution in that, I shouldn't have to tell you the solution. The solution is to back up from a lot of the tell live vision that you're watching.
Hmm.
The solution is to go read more books. When I put out my book, uh, 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 please, 5 strategies to success for melanated people. There's solutions in there. Do people go by the book when I would tell them you're asking for a solution or you're asking for a plan? Go get the book. No,
Hmm.
they didn't,
Yeah, they don't want to read, man. People don't
because
read.
they wanted to try to belittle me in the chat. Then when they saw that or heard that, oh, wait a minute, he actually does have a plan, then they get quiet as church mice.
Hmm.
Now they're on to the next chat with somebody else that they can try to belittle. So we have to be cognizant that there are some people that really appreciate the information, but even with the appreciation of the information, are you making it applicable to your own personal life? Because it is not our job to save you.
Right.
Everybody has to have a plan for their own community, for their own family. I'm sorry, I don't need somebody else to tell me what's the plan. As a man, as a woman, you should be creating a plan with the information that you are given. And this is what we call using this. That whether you want to call it God, Allah, Yahweh, Jehovah, universe,
The
uh, uh,
Anunnaki.
uh, yeah, Anunnaki, conscious energy, whatever you want to call it, it's on you to use this. So,
Yeah.
so if we're the vessels sent to wake up, if we're the light, all our job is to get you to look at the light within yourself.
Exactly.
It's not our job to get you to walk in our light. It's not our job to lead you.
Because my plan might not be your plan.
Exactly. And so when people come with, well, what's the plan? Well, the plan is to free your mind. First of all, if you haven't done that, the plan has always been on you. It's not on us. We're just the vessels that were used. And if you want to take the context of Jesus, Jesus was what, even though it's fictitious, I don't believe in it, but for those that do, if you look at the metaphor in it, Jesus was sent to show the disciples.
Yeah.
He was sent to show the disciples what you can be. Now it's on them to be that which they were shown. It's on them to do that work. But it's not on Jesus to carry them. It was never that. He was sent to show you what you can be. And what did he say? Things I have done you will do, and you will do greater than I. So it's just the light. We are the light sent to potentially wake some people up so that they can take the torch from there and move on. And see, that's where we as people get fucked up, because we think that Martin and Malcolm were
Hmm.
sent to free us. No,
Hmm.
no. That's why nobody picked up the torch. And then the people that do, they turn out to be sellouts.
Hmm.
Because you open the door for them to take the torch, which was supposed to be passed to you, for you to wake your own self up. That's not
Well,
our job. I'm sorry.
well
Our
said,
job
my
is
brother.
exactly what we're doing for the people that might not know, for the people that have some curiosity as to, damn, what's going on with these Epstein files? Is it really that? Wait, what the corruption? Damn, I didn't know the corruption was to this level. Our job is to get you to research for
Hmm.
those that don't believe. Wait a minute, let me they talking. Let me go back and do some oh, what they said is actually true. Damn, I didn't know about Prescott Bush. I didn't know that he had a plot to overthrow the US government, and there was a US soldier that actually stopped him from doing that. Damn, I didn't know about the this country being paid $3 billion since 1940. Wait a minute, I didn't know Putin was this. I didn't know that there was that gold is at this price right now, and the U.S. dollar is five. Damn, I didn't even know we were $38 trillion in debt. Damn, I didn't know why all these retail spots are closing. Now
Right.
I have some idea. Let me investigate. Why? Because that's for you and your family. It's not for us. We got the information. And there might be some information that you can pass to us. I
Yep.
get it all the time from followers. Well,
Yeah.
did
Yeah.
you know about this, Yarima? Damn, salute. Thank you. I didn't even know about that. Now we're starting to put pieces of a puzzle together.
That's
So
what's up,
that's the
man.
plan. The plan is for you to get you right. It's not for me to get you right. I don't have that power. And as grown adults, you shouldn't want me to get you right. That's not
Right.
my job. My job is to keep getting me right.
Word.
We're just taking time out of our day, our precious time, because we love you to that extent. Love is an action word. I don't have to tell you I love you. Every time I put my face on screen, every time Beyond puts his face on screen, and we give you this information, That's going against the establishment right there because they don't want you to get this.
Nope.
I remember I was told in prison. I was called to the lieutenant's office and the captain sat across from me from a table. I was teaching a class and I was showing how the BOP, the Bureau of Prisons, was in the top 5 of the stock exchange.
Hmm.
And I was showing, and this captain said, "Why are you teaching this? You shouldn't be teaching this." I said, "I shouldn't be teaching this. This is in the Wall Street Journal. What do you mean?"
and
He said, "Well, let the inmates go find it in the Wall Street Journal. They don't need you telling them."
and what does that
And
do,
that's
man?
our government right there. That's our government right there.
Right. That was even back in the slavery day. What did they do when they found another slave trying to teach them how to read?
They killed them.
Exactly. So that it's been going on like that forever, man. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
So, I mean,
everything you said was righteous, bro.
yeah, I mean, so that's the plan is to get you right. The plan is always to wake yourself up. It's not our we're not the modern day Harriet Tubmans.
Hmm.
Uh you have the ability to save yourself.
Yeah.
And even during Harriet's time, you still had the ability to save yourself because she saved herself. She took the chance, she took that risk, and then took a greater risk in going back to get people.
And she said she could have saved even more if they only knew they were slaves.
Yeah,
They,
exactly.
some didn't want to leave. Well, I don't want to leave, master. Where I'm gonna go? I ain't going out there.
And guess and when and what's interesting, John, is and I want to leave on this point, when she went to get them and people said the same thing. Well, I don't know if I want to leave, man. What's the plan? Follow me or die.
Yeah.
That's the plan. Follow the light, the moonlight, or die. I don't have time to talk to you about it.
Right.
What do you want to do?
Word. No, man, I meant to touch on the ice stuff, man, but there's nothing really to be said about that. It's just it's
Another distraction.
it's another distraction, man. It is, and it's a debacle, you know. So
I got mixed feelings about ice. I got mixed feelings. I'm not gonna lie. I got mixed feelings. I don't really pay attention to it. But um, I do. There's a part that says it's a divisionary tactic, which it is. They always that division is in there. But
Mhm.
there's also that part that says, hey, um, citizens should be fed first before anybody else.
Yeah,
My house is going to be fed first before the neighbors. And I just think as it should be, self-preservation has always been the first law of nature. So
yeah,
um,
yeah.
we have too many we have too many homeless people that are citizens in this country, sleeping under bridges,
Hmm.
who are starving. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, yeah. All right, my brother. It's been a good one, man. Been good. We definitely got to get on a regular schedule too, man. I know my schedule gets kind of busy, and I know yours is always a little busier than mine, but let's see if we can find the time to at least get these out once a week.
Yeah, let's you know what, let's do that, John, and let's try to on the back end we'll talk about setting a specific day so we
Yeah.
can we can what day kind of suits. Wednesdays are usually pretty good for me midweek, but we can talk about that backstage. And for the audience members, of course, always thank you for your continued support, appreciation for that. And Brother Slade salutes you because you've been with us for years, brother, and that means everything. And there's a few others that have as well. And I'm thankful for you as I know John is as well. So any last things, John?
That's it, man. I'm good. I'm good. Just try to get out here and get some walking in today since the weather's kind of warmed up a little bit. So
You and I both. So with that said, real life, real talk, brother John, myself, Yarima Karama. Until next time, have a great rest of your week. Be safe, and be aware of what's going on. Peace, love, and light.